Hi, hello, my name is Gomer Joseph. I hope you've all been having a great day so far. Welcome back to another True Crime Tuesdays video. If you are new, I welcome you. Before I discuss today's case, I'd like to mention my Christian suspense book series titled Never As It Seems. The first book in the series is available on Amazon, and you can read it on any device on the Kindle app. But you can get it for free if you have Amazon Prime, and the link will be in the description box below if you are interested. Today I'll be discussing the solved Christopher Dorner murders. As I researched this case, it pretty much felt like some high speed chase action movie type spiel, and I remember, this case a bit. Like, I even remember back then um, having this feeling of this high speed chase. And believe it or not, this case is pretty controversial, and I'll explain why at the end of the video. Now, I encourage you all to do your own research with this case and not to just look at my video for all of the information. Here we go. Christopher Dorner was born on June 4th in 1979 in New York, but he and his family moved to Southern California where he spent most of his life. Throughout 1st to 7th grade, Chris was pretty much the only black kid in his entire school, and like literally I cannot imagine how that would be. Like, I just remember, throughout my years in school, especially like junior high school to senior high school, like my school was pretty diverse, and that was something that I pretty much appreciated. So I truly cannot imagine how it would feel being the only person that looks like, you, while so many people around you basically don't look like you at all. Like, nobody around the school looks like you at all. And being the only black kid in his school had some conflicts since his white, he had some little struggles with his white classmates, and that really sucks. Like, from what was explained, Chris was pretty much bullied by these kids. But as a teen, he decided that he wanted to become a police officer. Chris was described as someone who was outgoing, had a sense of humor, and intelligent. In 2002, he joined the Navy, but in 2004, he joined the Air Force. Now, while in the Air Force, Chris joined the LAPD in 2006. I do know that Chris was married. I don't know his wife's name, and of course, with everything that went down, I'm not even sure that she really wants to be associated with Christopher, but they did divorce in 2007, so unfortunately, the marriage didn't really last at all. In 2007, Chris was partnered with a Teresa Evans. Now, there's this one specific case where Chris actually filed a complaint against Teresa in regards to a police brutality incident. This incident is pretty conflicted, so according to Chris, when the two officers responded to a mental health crisis in June of that year at a hotel, Teresa kicked the man who suffered with schizophrenia and dementia. She kicked this man in the chest while he was handcuffed on the ground. After filing this complaint, an investigation was brought up. Two hotel employees stated that Teresa never attacked the man, but another officer said that he didn't see it either. But photographs of the man says a different story. The man's father stated that he was assaulted, and the father testified in court, so the man also testified in court, but it was said that this man couldn't communicate clearly. So overall, the investigation came to a conclusion that Chris Dorner lied. Now, I wasn't there, so I have no reason to believe Chris's side, but I have no reason to doubt him either. Because they concluded that he lied, Chris Dorner was fired from the LAPD, and from what I'm about to explain, Chris wasn't really happy about it at all. Being let go from the police department caused him to be in a deep state of depression, and I can understand that he felt that way because ever since he was a teenager, he truly wanted to be an officer, and from what he's saying, like, he truly tried to do the right thing, but yet he was somehow punished for it. So I can understand why he was in such bad shape. So, with this depression, he decided, hey, maybe I should just go ahead and begin to buy these, what it sounds like, high tech weapons. On February 3rd, 2013, 28-year-old Monica Quan, who was a coach and a woman who had a good reputation, she had a fiance named Keith Lawrence who was 27. Now, the thing is that on this day, they were found dead in their car in their apartment parking lot, but the cause of death was because they were shot. Since it didn't seem like Monica and Keith had any enemies, it was pretty hard for investigators to pinpoint who would have committed this evil act. The next day, February 4th, Dorner confessed to the murders online and wrote a whole manifesto. Basically, in this manifesto, he's explaining that this is an act of revenge since the LAPD claimed that he was fired because they saw him as a liar. Like, he, in a way, I guess, wanted to clear his name, but of course, after killing two people, I mean, it's not really going to make people look at you positively, but he truly felt like he had to go ahead and do something because his name was tarnished. What baffles me is that Monica Quan is the daughter of Dorner's attorney, Randall Quan, and Dorner vowed to make Randall pay by targeting Randall and his family, which I truly don't understand, since it seemed like, to me, like Randall, like from what I gathered, like Randall spoke to the father of the man who was assaulted. So Randall, like, to me, seemed like he was really trying to help Dorner. On February 7th, 2013, Michael Crane and Andy, I hope I'm saying this right, Takei, they were both police officers who were patrolling that night, and while they're patrolling, like, Dorner approaches them and starts shooting at them. Now, a taxi cab driver witnesses all this and he tried to help, but unfortunately, Michael Crane passed away from the gunshot wounds, and Andy Takei had these critical injuries. From what I read, Dorner attempted to steal a boat trying to leave California, but I believe that he failed to take this boat. Hours later, Dorner's truck was found, but it was found burned in a remote area, so I'm gonna assume that Dorner burned it himself for some reason. I mean, I guess, to make sure that the police don't follow his trail. So the police were trying to follow the trail. They split up to see if Dorner was hiding anywhere around this large area, creating a huge manhunt that California had never seen, and this lasted for days. On February 12, 2013, there was this 911 call from the Mount Visa Resort, and I guess they were the owners. They stated that Dorner tied them up and stole their car. Dorner somehow crashed the car that he stole, then robbed another truck at gunpoint, telling the man that he didn't want to hurt him, but he needed to bounce and let him take the vehicle. So the man did as he was told and let Dorner take his vehicle. Then afterwards, like anybody would do when somebody steals your car at gunpoint, he called 911. After the 911 call, police were able to pretty much catch up to Dorner, and they were chasing him all the way to this cabin, which is pretty much the final standoff. And in this final standoff, guns were blasting. Now, two officers were hit. There was this Jeremiah McKay, and he did pass away, unfortunately, and another one was critically injured. Still, Dorner and police were shooting at one another. Now, while they were shooting back and forth, they decided to use a demolition vehicle to tear down this cabin that Dorner was in. Then tear gas was thrown, causing the cabin to catch on fire. So while the cabin is catching on fire, the police say that they heard a gunshot, which was this alleged act of suicide on Dorner's part. Now, y'all can see why I explained this as some high-speed chase action movie, because the ending to this, like, of course, this whole story is just pretty much messed up, but, like, the way that this ended, it's like I'm watching Set It Off or something. Like I explained earlier, this case is pretty controversial because there are people who felt like Dorner was this Punisher type vigilante going after a corrupt system. Now, I understand that police can be corrupt, especially with the LAPD, because I've heard quite a few things about how corrupt the Los Angeles Police Department can be. But I just find it weird that Dorner never went after the people that wronged him. By the end of the day, I feel like Dorner went at this wrong, and it's really a tragic story, to be honest. I thank you all for taking the time in your day to watch this video. If you did like this video, please feel free to hit the like button. If you have any thoughts on this case, and if you agree with my final statements, please leave those thoughts in the comment section. If you'd like to see more videos from me, please feel free to subscribe and click the bell to be notified about the next video. If there's a certain true crime case that you'd like me to cover, go ahead and let me know. I will see y'all for our next True Crime Tuesdays, and I will talk to y'all later.